Skip's Cowboys are 2.5-point favorites at Jerry World against the division rival Eagles, according to Fox Bet. The winner claims sole possession of first place in the NFC East. Shannon, who wins this one Sunday night?
I really expect there to be a lot of points on both sides, Skip. I think both defenses are really disappointed in the way they've been playing this year. I thought the Eagles would be much better, and I know you thought the way the Cowboys left off last year, they would pick right up, and they did for the first 3 games. I'm going to take the Eagles in a close ball game, but I believe it's going to be a high-scoring ball game. The Eagles have the number 2 rush defense, but they're terrible in pass coverage. I'm going to say the Eagles win 30-27. And all turnovers are not created equal. And I think the one thing that Wentz has done a better job this year than what Dak has done, and normally is Dak doing a better job of this than Wentz, is taking care of the football. Dak has 6 interceptions, Wentz has 3. And I believe the Eagles defense will make one play late in the ball game that will be the difference in the ball game. And I got the Eagles winning a close ball game, but a high-scoring ball game. I got the Eagles 30-27.
So, for once on this show, when it comes to my Cowboys, I'm barely claiming them at this point.
No. You
barely
got
claiming.
No. Ain't no barely.
For once, you well could be right. For once, I have very, very, very little faith in picking the Cowboys to win this game, even at home. I just don't love this game for the Dallas Cowboys, and it's harder and harder to have faith in them because I'll be the first to admit, knowing what I know about pro football, really about any sport, these are very, very bad signs when a team that I believe could win the NFC and get to the Super Bowl in its last 2 games fell behind 31-3 at home and then 21-3 on the road to a Jets team that was 0-4. Bad sign, bad sign. I'm going to say it again. Not one player on my defense, the same defense that shut down Drew Brees and company late last year and shut down Russell Wilson and company in a playoff game later last year, not one player on that defense has lived up to preseason expectations. Not a single one, starting
or contract expectations.
Thank you. Starting with Marcus Lawrence, who is no longer DeMarcus Lawrence because there's no D. He's playing no D at all. So he's just Marcus Lawrence, and he got $100 million, and he's on the most wanted list because I barely know he plays in these games. And I raved last year. You even got caught up a little bit in Jalen Smith and Wolf Hunter. Oh, the dynamic duo who were changing games, literally changing games, taking over games, sideline to sideline. Haven't seen them lately.
No.
I don't know. I'm not even sure they're out there. Now, not that this really matters, I'm down 2 starting cornerbacks, hamstring issues, and once the hamstring goes, you can just forget about it.
Ain't nothing going on.
I'm talking about Byron Jones, Anthony Brown, and almost certainly, because they haven't practiced, they will not play.
Right.
And the truth is, I don't even know if that really matters because they haven't been very good anyway. So maybe throw the backups in.
It's like Byron Jones stepped off a cliff, Skip.
Totally agree.
Considering like what he was last year.
Okay. Flip around to my offense. Amari Cooper, I love. He changed life in Dallas. But when it comes to injuries, he's not like the mentally toughest guy. And I'm not saying he's just a deeper thinker, and I think he really values his body. And so he's not one to say, I'm going to run through that brick wall and risk the rest of it. He's the guy, I'm not going to overcompensate. So he's gone from severe plantar fasciitis to a really bad ankle to a deep thigh bruise. And he said yesterday he actually hurt the thigh against Green Bay. Really? Nobody knew. And he said he didn't communicate well enough with the training staff.
Exactly.
And so he went out for warm-ups at Jets, and he's thinking, I don't even feel like I can run today. But he tried, and he caught 1 ball for 3 yards, and he just said, hey, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
And he's out of the game. Well, he says he's going to try to practice a little bit today. Do I trust him to be Amari? I do not. I'm sorry. And Randall Cobb has a back injury, and he still hasn't practiced, so I'm pretty sure he's not going to play. So now Carson Wentz still has Zach Ertz, one of the best tight ends in football. I mean, you can make a case he's right there with that guy we saw last night, right? Mm-hmm. And Alshon is back and going great guns. And Aguilar, he drops too many balls, but he's also very dangerous and can get behind you. So I think that's big advantage in this game for Carson Wentz. And speaking of my quarterback, the two tackles have tried to practice, the left tackle, right tackle, obviously Ty Smith, Lyle Collins. And yet, am I sure? I'm not sure. So I just can't. I try to make a case, and I can't. I'm going to defend my quarterback one last time because he's all I got. I still believe in my quarterback. I trust my quarterback. He is a gamer. He is a baller. And whatever he's got, he'll give you. Mm-hmm. And he did beat this team twice last year. In the last game we saw him against the Eagles, and it was at Jerry World in the fourth quarter and overtime, as I continue to tell you, 243 passing yards. Fourth quarter and overtime, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So does he feel fairly comfortable against a pass defense that has given up the 29th most yards? I assume he does. So to your point about higher scoring, yeah, probably. So what else do I have to just barely cling to? I got Pro Football Focus. Still says that my team is the 4th best team in pro football. I don't know how, but they can justify it with their analytics and metrics, okay?
But I think they were thinking that Ty Smith, and Lyle Collins, and Mark Cooper, those guys going to be healthy.
So they say the Eagles are the 9th best, so 4th versus 9th. They still say my offense, they rank number 1. Not sure how, but they do. Defensively, they don't love my defense is ranked 14th. Yours is ranked 16th. So maybe that's a coin flip.
Right.
So what does it bring me to? Ezekiel Elliott, could they finally just say, okay, we give up, we're going to hand it to him 40 times and try to slow the game down, right? As we've seen against Patrick Mahomes. The Eagles have the number 1 run defense in pro football. So do you think Zeke's going to break out against the Eagles? I don't. So I don't even have that to lean back like, right. Oh, last gasp. They can just keep handing it to 21 and maybe he'll start doing this all day. I'm not sure that's going to happen. So where does that leave me as the point spread starts to fall? Because it opened at 3 and now it's down to 2.5. So the bandwagon is rolling for the Eagles, and I get it because I fear it's going to run over me.
Told you it was going to happen.
Yep. All I got going is that your coach, Dougie Prediction, right out of the box on Monday, maybe smarting a little bit off their loss at Minnesota, maybe a little thin-skinned and defensive. He flat out guaranteed, and he tried to backtrack it, but he guaranteed a win. We're going to go down there and win the football game. So God knows my coach can't motivate my team. God knows he's not going to fix it. He's not going to shake it up. There's not going to be shocking lineup changes or strategic changes. So I'm going to have to depend on your coach to be the reason my team somehow rises.
So he motivated you guys.
That's all I got. Seriously, that their manhood got called out. Because you know what? I believe it. If we could put him on a lie detector right now, he would say, we're going to kick their ass. And believe it. Yeah. Like, believe it, heart and soul. Like, strategically. Like, watch the tape.
Right.
We'll go up and down the field on him all day long.
I'm sure he told his team that in the meeting.
Right. And my offensive line, all those high-paid linemen, they have gotten whipped starting by your Saints. They get whipped at the line of scrimmage all too often. Zeke can't even get out of the starting blocks half the time. He had 10 runs against the Jets that went for 1 yard or fewer, and there's really no place to go. So all I know is at some point, like last night, I think the Chiefs, they got sick and tired of hearing how bad they were, and so they rose up last night. On the big stage, they said, and this is Sunday night football.
Oh, that's what you're hoping, huh?
Yeah. So they're going to say, okay, Dougie P., watch this. This is who we are. This is who we used to be and who we're going to be starting with this game. That's all I got. I'm clinging just barely to this because I'm about to fall off the cliff backwards. And if they lose this game to fall to 3-4 and lose 4 in a row, it's going to be really hard for me to hang on, even though they'll only be a game back in the division. If they win it, would it be a springboard? I don't even know that. But I do think they love to play against this team. And I do believe this team will bring out whatever the best is in my team. And so I'm going to go some crazy end. I don't have a score as high as yours. I think there's going to have to be turnovers back and forth.
Right.
I'm going Dallas 24, Philly 23 on a walk-off by my man, Brett Maher. I need him to be my man this time because he'll hit, 62-yarders, but then he misses 38-yarders, right?
With no meaning.
Yeah, with
62
no meaning.
didn't mean anything.
It didn't at that moment. There's no pressure on it.
Exactly.
So I'm going to say with meaning, walk-off 24-23 Dallas. And I can't do it on paper. I can't justify it. Sorry.
With those two defenses, I just think points are going to get scored. I don't love either defense.
But I will say this. I like Philly's front seven more than I like Dallas's front seven because I haven't seen any life. I haven't seen any energy. I haven't seen any urgency. I haven't seen anything. But when I watch Philly's front seven, it's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
It can be very good.
Barnett, Cox. They got a nice front seven.
Whoa.
It's just if they don't get the quarterback on the ground and the quarterback has time to throw the ball down the field, it's that back four that leaves a lot to be desired. Your back four is not exactly, murderer's row either.
Yep. So my biggest fear is I'm going to have to come in here on Monday and say, how about them Eagles? That's what I'm going to have to say. How about them Eagles?
I might have a little something special.
Yeah. Well, you got me on the run. And
mercy, no mercy, no mercy. Let's go face to face. I embrace debate. I don't make mistakes. I just make my case. Drop spike when I'm done. One more can I say? Not bite to my tongue. I don't like the taste. I'm on and I'm on and I own my opponent. I'm always in the zone. Need a zone out of zone and then we could get it poppin'. Pick the topic if you watchin'. Skip and Shannon, skip and hoppin'. Took these sports and made them pop it. All right, undisputed.
TGIF, everybody. Welcome to Undisputed Live from Los Angeles. I'm Jen.